Well, welcome back for part 2 of chapter 3. This time we're going to do problem 3-13B, and this is in your book, and it's a couple pages long, and hopefully you may have the blank worksheet to fill along. If not, you can fill along with your textbook. But I have some of this already. This is Stan Barker opened a Quick Shops Market on January 1st, and what we'll have to do here is fill out the 941 form for this individual. And this is for as president of the company, file this form quarterly, okay, so forth, so on. And now on the pages, he has the total wages that he's paid for the quarter for Albert, Patty, Jared, and Denise, and the Social Security numbers, quarterly wages, OSDI tax. So everything's done for it. All we got to do is fill this out. So this part you need to fill out, and this is for January, February, March. It's the first quarter. And what will come down here then, and this is just information that's given out of the textbook. Now, number of employees. Well, if you count them up, we have 4 employees. Because he's a sole proprietorship, he is not an employee. Okay. Wages and tips and other compensation. If we look on the page, we see that that's $55,890. That's given to us under the quarterly wages. And then in line 3 is the federal income tax withheld. And we look in the textbook again, and we see that is under federal income tax $46.80. Now on these, you normally do not put commas in there because the IRS doesn't like commas, but okay. Now, for line 5, total Social Security wages. Well, we don't have any exempt wages, so that's going to be the same we had above, $55,890. Then you notice you take that times 12.4%, and if you do that, that will give you $69,3036. And we don't have any Social Security tips in this one, but the Medicare is also $55,890. We get times the 2.9 because we've withheld half of it, and that will give us the $16,2081. And we don't have any taxable tips either, so we don't have to worry about that part. Okay. 5E, if you read this, it says adds 5A, B, and C together. Well, so in 5E, we have this cell plus that cell. That's all we have in that one. And that gives us 8551.17. Now 5F, we don't have any of those, so we don't have to worry about it. So then we have to add lines, just do what I said, line 3, 5E, and 5F together. Well, we have this 3 plus this cell gives us 13,231.17. Now here comes the problem child, the line 7, which is current quarters fractions of cents. Is because you notice what we did here, when we calculate the taxes, we do it on each pay period. So we could have a rounding difference. And when we do it up here, we do it on the total pay. So there may be some fractions of cents, is what they call fractions of cents. It can be added or subtracted either way. And we have to find out what it is. So what we need to do, the easiest way is to come down here first to do this part 2 down here. Okay, for the part 2, I already have this over here kind of started. The employer's FICA tax is $577.53, and that's in that's given information right there. The total taxes per pay period are, that's $577.53, and the thing is, each month, since it's semi-monthly, it has 2 pay periods. So we take this, multiply them times 2, and that gives us $1155.66. Okay, we look at the FICA, employer FICA. Well, that's also $577.53. Now remember, it doesn't have to be the same. It could be off a penny. And that will, if we multiply those 2 together, I'll do that, times 2, and that gives us the same number, 1150. Okay. The employee high, we look at the employee high, it's 135.08. So we have 135.08 2508, and it's 2 pay periods. So we multiply these two together times 2, and it gives us 266. Oh, I had that wrong. I didn't look at it right. It's 13508. 13508. That's what's nice about Excel. You just change it and it fixes itself. 13508. The employer high is 13507. Okay, if I read these right, it'll be okay. And that's 2. So now we multiply these two together times 2, and that gives us 270.14. And then the fit for the quarter is 780 times 2 equal 780 times 2. Okay, and then we add these up. Oops, add all these up. There we go. Okay, I'll try this again. I didn't do it right. Let's try adding all of these up. That gives us 44, 10, 42. That's the number I want. Okay, so that's the number that will go in here. That is 44, 10, 42. And that's for each of them, 44, 10, 42, 44, 10, 42. And then this cell here will be those three numbers added together, which gives you 13,231.26. So now we'll come back up here to our other tax, and we know that we don't have any there. The total after adjustments in line 10 has to be 13,231.26. Now the difference between those two is what will go in here, which if you I'll do it this way. If you take the 1326 minus the 17, it's going to be 9 cents. So this is the number that will go here in the 9 cents. Now remember, that can be a plus or minus. If this number is lower, it'll be a minus. It shouldn't be off that far though. And then on line 11 is 13,231.26, because that should be equal to our deposits down here. And balance due will be 0, which I hope it is, and overpayment will be 0, and that should take care of this problem. Now, a suggestion we have: if you have an overpayment, like one quarter you paid too much, by all means what you want to do is apply it to the next return. Do not ask for a refund, because it takes a while to get a refund, and you'll end up getting it and not really knowing what it's for. So really should apply it to the next return. And also you get it instantly, because that way you really get it on your next pay period, really, because you just deduct the amount that you overpaid. So it's a lot faster and quicker. Okay. And here we have to check we're a monthly scheduled depositor, which I didn't check that box, but you need to check that box, because we're a monthly scheduled depositor. We have to be due by the 15th of the following month. And don't check this because we're not closing. So, okay, that is problem 813B. So hopefully that helps a little bit. The key on this one is the hardest part is line number 7, which is fractions of cents. This number here is these added up to get this total, and then this total is what your liability was for the quarter. Not what you deposited necessarily, but what your liability is. And that should be what you deposited. That's why we use it. For our textbooks it will be. But normally it's your liability, because you may have under deposited. So, and that's what you want to check on. Okay. And hope that helps a little bit. And until next time, this is Chapter 3.